All right, everybody. So, hello and welcome to class. So, today I'm going to be showing you what you missed in class if you weren't able to make it with us today. So, today we're going to be doing looking contour drawings. So, remember that we talked all about contour drawings last week and the week before that as well. We did blind contours. Well, today we're going to actually do looking contour artwork. So, looking contours are really fun because you do get to finally look at your paper while you draw. Now, as a reminder, contour drawings, if you remember back to when we've talked about this the last couple of weeks, contour drawings are going to be line drawings that show something in 3D. So they show the shape of something in space and they are made up only of lines. Now, in order to make an accurate contour drawing, you have to still use the skills we used when we were doing blind contours, okay? So when we did blind contour drawings, we were looking at the object we were drawing itself 100% of the time. But when we are going to do regular contour drawings, you are still going to be looking at the object way more than you look at the paper. You can be looking at that object 85 to 90% of the time still. Because remember, when we learn how to draw accurately, we're drawing accurately by looking at the object, getting that visual information. So looking at these two drawings of this teacup in the center here, you might notice that they look similar, but one of them might look more accurate than the other. So look carefully at both drawings of that teacup and decide which one do you think looks more accurate to the picture. If it's me, I am seeing that there is a curve drawn on the bottom of the picture on the right, that I see a curve in the picture itself. This left picture over here has a very flat bottom. In fact, it's completely flat. And that's because that's a left brain thing. So remember how we talked about how the right side of your brain is all about drawing. It knows what it's doing. It can do it. Well, when the left side of your brain is still trying to take charge when you're drawing, it's going to be logic based. So logic tells us that if a cup is going to sit on a tabletop, it has to have a flat bottom, right? So why don't we just draw it that way? That's how the left brain works. Well, the problem is that that's not an accurate way of drawing what you see, because what we see is a curve. So this is just a reminder that please make sure you let your right side of your brain do the work when you are actually drawing. So we are going to be drawing this teacup today together. So go ahead and get your paper and pencil out. Remember, I like to draw with wooden pencils, but mechanical pencils are totally fine as well. I also like to use handheld erasers because I think that handheld erasers are easier to use, they're more trustworthy to use, and I like to just be able to trust what I'm actually drawing. So we're going to be drawing this teacup together. So I'm going to go ahead and put my drawing up here next to it so you can see. And you're welcome to follow along with me on my paper. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I start any picture with a cup is I usually like to do the rim of the cup over here. So the rim of the cup has this sort of squashed oval look to it. So I start there on my drawing. So when I draw with my pencil, I also try to hold it in the middle of the pencil itself so that I'm drawing lighter. I have a little bit more range of motion. And anytime that I'm drawing, I kind of do really light sketches with my pencil. I'm trying to get the general shape there in an accurate way. And I'm not trying to just do one line. I kind of do little sketchy lines that kind of just help me establish the shape that I'm looking for. Okay, so I start by doing that little oval. Now you'll notice that anytime that I make a mistake, which is a lot when I draw everybody, I wait until I draw the correct line in before I try to erase. And that's because if I try to erase every single time that I do an incorrect line, I end up drawing the same incorrect line over and over again and I get frustrated. So I just take the frustration out of it by making sure that I fix the bad line first and put the correct line in. Now, for the contours of the sides of the cup, I'm noticing that it looks relatively straight and then it starts kind of scooping down into this bowl shape. So I'm just looking at the drawing, I'm kind of comparing what I see on my drawing to what I see on the picture, and I'm trying to get that kind of angle in there in the correct way. Now I want to remind you guys that anytime you're doing drawing and you're giving control to the right side of your brain, of course, that means kind of letting the left side take a break, which means not talking the whole time. So sometimes my drawings are not as good when I'm trying to talk through them the whole time, but that's okay. Okay, because as a teacher, I kind of have to do that sometimes. All right, I'm going to put in this bottom lip of the cup here. It's got a curve to it. Now I'm going to go on to the handle. Now the handle is going to be really special because you can see here that the front edge of the handle comes up and around and back down here and over. So I'm going to start by drawing that front edge of the handle first. And I'm looking at that picture the whole time. Now, if I look at the back edge is going to be really different because the back edge is going to go up and around and over, and then it's going to disappear and reappear down here. Okay, so when I go to draw that in there, I'm following what I see on the drawing, and I'm making what I see happen on the picture itself happen on my drawing. Okay, so something like that. All right. And unfortunately, since this is a webcam, it's showing this backwards. So I'm not sure if I'm able to change that for this Screencastify, but you get the idea. So I'm looking at values now. Because I've gotten my contour drawing done, I'm happy with it. I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to color in all of the value as well, because why not? This is a complete drawing if I decide to go ahead and put my values in there. So values, remember, are how light or dark something is. Anytime that I make a contour drawing, I'm ready to just finish it up into a nice, beautiful product. So go ahead and add values in here today too with me. Okay, so I saw, the first thing that I saw was that there's a shadow being cast here on the edge of the cup handle from the cup itself in two places. So I'm putting in those values that I see on the picture. Now I'm also seeing that there's a little bit of a darker value on this side of the cup back here where it kind of disappears. So I'm going to kind of darken up that a little bit and transition that value in to match up that lighter value I see there. Come down here at the bottom. Okay, and there's kind of my initial values there for the cup handle. Then I'm going to go through and put in some more values over here on the side. Even though this is a white object, it's still got a lot of different values. And some of those values can get rather dark if it's still looking like a white object. Too often when people draw something that is white in color, they don't put dark enough values in it. So that's something that you kind of have to get past a lot of times because, hey, again, the left side of your brain is telling you, well, that's a white object, just leave it white. But in art, we're using the right side of our brain, and the right side of our brain can clearly see differences in value. It can see that one side is definitely darker in value than the other, and there's a transition from light to dark, okay? Now remember the tips and tricks that I gave you guys when we did a lot of that value stuff towards the beginning of the second quarter, that when we do values with pencil, you can use a tissue, like a Kleenex tissue, or your finger, but I don't like to use my finger because it gets too messy, to kind of smooth out those values and make those smooth transitions happen on your paper a little bit easier. So you're welcome to use a little tissue to kind of smear your pencil work. I like to try to challenge myself by not doing that though. Now I'm going to look at the values on the inside edge of the cup. I noticed that from one edge, it's way darker and it transitions to a lighter value on the other edge of the inside of the cup there. So I'm going to do just that. Press lighter on my pencil for lighter values. Push harder on my pencil for darker values. And I'm trying to keep the rim of the cup visible in here. It's tending to get lost a little bit, so I'm just gonna make sure that I keep that in there. And I could spend all day refining these values and making them nice and smooth and beautiful and perfect, but I don't have to, okay? This is just like a quick little practice, okay? So I go through, add the rest of my values in, maybe a cast shadow on the tabletop that this thing is sitting on. And hey, why don't we get really wild and crazy and put some coffee in this little teacup or some tea? All I'm going to do is just kind of draw a curved line up and over and follow the line of the rim and color it in nice and dark. And look, now I have some actual tea to drink from my little cup. Okay, so that is basically what we did this week in class. A simple contour drawing practice, and then we revisited value. All right, everybody, great job. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. See you next time.